suburbs has been tremendous. And I'm wondering, what is your position on extending the CTA Rapid Transit line out to at least 130th?
Oh, I'm all for that. Because, oh, sorry. No, I'm definitely for that. When you hear the stories of when people don't even have to go that far, and it takes them an hour or hour and a half to get there, that's ridiculous. No, I'm definitely for that. And also, everybody doesn't have a car, to get around. So I think that we need to make it as convenient as possible. And actually, it's better that, people get on mass transit and they don't drive. I was born and raised in New York. I lived in Manhattan. I didn't know how to drive until I was 24 when I was married, and I was living in Peoria where there was no bus on Sunday, no bus after 6. So I'm a mass transit baby, so I definitely believe in that. And we'll fight and do whatever I can.
Yeah.
But I
together with all of them homes, perhaps.
But actually, I'm sorry, I spoke to, I was in Washington, I spoke to Forrest Claypool, and he told me it's going to happen. So, we'll be watching.
I'll come back. Does anyone else, before I go back to this gentleman?
And also, please, they've heard me say this, if there's concerns.
It doesn't just have to be a question.
It does have to be a question.
If there's an issue that we haven't touched on that you think that she needs to be aware of, doesn't just have to be a question. So you had your hand.
I'm just curious, in your opinion, how can your constituents best serve or support the Congressperson?
Really, you need to be involved, and people need to be active, because, again, I've been in government for a long time, from the local level, the county, and the state, and what I've seen all too often, that people don't pay attention to what changes are coming down the pipe, and then at 1 minute to 12, then there's, a big rally, or people are screaming and shouting about it when, information had been given out, at least in my cases, information had been given out. And also, when I'm representing you in Congress, I would love for you to have my back, let other people hear from you. I was in, one of the times I was in Washington, someone said to me, I think I was there, that not that you have to agree with the president all the time or anything like that, or me all the time, but they've never seen a president treated so disrespectfully as him. So, he needs your prayers. He needs to hear your voices when you agree with him, and he needs to hear from you when you don't agree with him, but that's what I need when I'm fighting. I want to feel like I turn around, like when we talk about jobs and 130th Street and gun safety, we're losing a generation of young people to guns and violence, and we have to stop the madness. So, in that case with the guns, the president needs to hear from you to know, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. This is what, my folks think. And today, when he sent out his endorsement of me, that's what he talked about, that he knows that I'll come and fight for that and stand by his side. So really, that's it. We're also looking for interns. We can't have volunteers, so if you have any interns you want to send our way, that'd be great. But really, that's it. Let us hear from you. If you have an idea, we don't have all the ideas of something that would work, let us know that too.
Yes.
This is an extension of the question that I asked about your ramifications as being congressman. I wanted to you to spell out how wide is it, how deep is it? Because I am at the point in my life that I cannot continue to vote for someone just because they are the color of my skin. I need someone to tell me and really follow through that's going to put our children to the forefront. 100% of their interests collectively, like the Senate, not the Senate, but state rep, along with the congressman, we are losing our children. We, as an individual, cannot do anything. But if the state rep or someone, similar, can get together and snap out a lot of stuff like what's going on now with the schools closing. Mm-hmm. When is it that our representatives going to step to the forefront and put our children, our generations to come up at the forefront, like the opposition have always done. When does that happen?
And I'm gonna have to correct you on one thing. When you said that you as an individual can't do anything, that's not true. You can. I mean, we all need to pull together and work together. Like I just said, that you could give me your ideas, you can stand there with me, so don't think you can't do anything. And I would tell you that I agree with you. I don't think we should vote for someone just because of the color of their skin. And that's the other thing with paying attention. I said I was, when I ran for state rep, I beat a 10-year incumbent. And, when I talk to people, they said, well, we put him in, but he really doesn't do that much, so why do you keep putting him in? That we need to take responsibility, for that too, who we keep putting back in office. And, also, but I understand, it's hard. Someone might become your friend or, different things like that. That's the person you may not, know the other person. But because like when I ran, nobody was with me, because they didn't know. I'm talking about when I ran for state rep. But even this time, because of who I was running against, sitting electeds, and I get it, relationships or, if I win, they lose, and the people still have to deal with them, and they don't want to deal with angry aldermen or, state senators and those kind of things. And, there are, relationships. And for me, like I said, all I could do is show you, and you have my word. I mean, I do want to make a difference because, this has been a grueling, I ain't gonna lie, 3-4 months. I mean, I gave up, a good job, and I'm gonna be away from my husband and that kind of thing, but I do things because I'm passionate about it, not for the money, not for the title, and I do want to make a difference because, none of us will be good unless all of us are good. You know what I mean? That if you don't feel safe, in your home, or businesses don't want to move to your area because of violence or there's no skilled, labor to work, in those jobs. I mean, that's a reflection on all of us, not just, one person or another. Like I said, I live in the south suburbs, and yeah, there's some communities doing really well. I live in a nice community, but, but people still put, as I used to say when I just represented the south suburbs, one broad brush on the south suburbs and who lives there, and there's like retail racial profiling. Businesses don't come because they think it's all, black, low income, people without education. Is so untrue. We can afford, Nordstroms or whatever, just like everybody else. So I've lived this for, a long time, and I just really, like, enough is enough. With the gun violence, enough is enough. With our kids not getting the best education, enough is enough. But we all need to pull together to do it. It's not just, one person. But also, I will tell you, I have a good relationship with the state reps and the state senators. That's where I came from. I have a good relationship with the aldermen, and we're all going to work together to make a difference and to be partners.
We have time for a couple more questions.
Yes, my question comes back to the housing and the whole environment of our neighborhood, which I think is an environmental injustice, the whole foreclosure, what it has done in this congressional district alone, all the way to Kankakee is horrible. Decades ago, in many cities across the U.S., mayors were coming up with very creative incentives for housing. People could, professionals, working people who had job and income, get a house for $1. Banks were then, if you got approved for that, they had to give you a certain cap of rehab money. You had 3 to 5 years that you had to live in rehab, like the teacher next door, the police officer. Next door. I think, we're missing an opportunity again. We have young people who graduated and have school loans up the yang. They're working every day. They would be property owners, but there's got to be some creative incentives. They're young. They can do sweat equity. Many of them have skills. So I'm just hoping that we start thinking about creative ways so that we won't continue to have the exodus out of the city. That we bring and entice working professional people back into the communities, and particularly of color, because when you do open up these opportunities, people of another hue will be the ones we see in Detroit, the whole artist colony, who, they don't look like us, but they're in the community. I say all are welcome, but we need to be very clear to try to come up with some creative ways to fill these board ups.
And also, actually, the medical world does that, because a friend of mine, he lived in some interesting places, he's from Chicago, but in Arizona and New Mexico, actually on Indian reservations. I don't know if he didn't actually live on a reservation, but it was in that type of area. And actually, they have for urban for doctors also, so that would be good. Like with teachers, and it seems like some places I've heard of it for teachers also. But you're right that we're losing. If there's no jobs, there's nothing to come back to. First of all, but I know the city lost like 200,000 residents, because actually that's why they had to have the big shift in boundaries for the state reps and state senators. Like in my area, it grew. And so the person that took over when I left, he actually moved further west, because we have more people. And then people that represented the city got more of the suburbs, because they needed more numbers to make up their district. But that's a really good idea.
I'll take both of you. So, gentleman in the hat first, and then. Sir?
My son's a teacher at Manly High School, and he said that a good quarter of his class is homeless. He said he's got pregnant girls at 15, and naturally the gangbanging and the drug selling a little bit. And what he was asking me was, did I think this was all planned to be this way? They're gonna redo all of that stuff over there where the Southwoods was. As soon as they do that, they're gonna send it over here. He said the banks that have the houses already boarded up, that already haven't sold right now, we wouldn't even know. And he said, this kind of situation scares me, because they didn't like Philadelphia, so now they want to cut up Philadelphia into different voting areas, so the man who wins 1 million votes can still lose the election. And when I saw the lines 7 hours long, I thought to myself, if it's a constitutional right for me to vote, and you have one voting machine for every 30,000 people, and I knew should you go to jail?
But again, in the public speaking up, the public needs to speak up about that, even though that was exposed on the news. But I think it was exposed more in a way like, wow, look at all these people, waiting online, or like the woman that was going to have her baby, and but she wouldn't leave until she, voted for the president. Right, definitely. But those are things the public should be complaining about to their elected officials, because that person that, like David Orr, is Cook County. And if those kind of things happen, not to throw David under the bus or anything, but, we should be looking at that and demanding that something is different. And if it's not, then,
These people speak on a grand scale. Nothing happens to them. You get behind in your mortgage, it's a water payment, property tax, and bam, they got your stuff sold, they got you out in the street, it's $48. The guy that's in charge of Florida, where he ran $300 billion worth of Medicaid, Medicare fraud.
yeah, that was in Texas. There was another one in Texas.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a gentleman here who has asked a question. I'll have him, and then I'll come back to you, and then I'll be on. Sir?
Yes, what's your position on the Lakeside project?
That is so funny you asked. I'm going there tomorrow to meet with the developer.
What time?
What time? Oh, I'm sorry. You gonna meet me there?
The reason I asked is that I was out there the other day and they said they meet there on Wednesday sometime.
Oh,
Around 10
that's news to me. I met him maybe like a month ago or something like that, and I told him that I would come back. So someone that is involved with my campaign. She used to work in the 10th Ward, so, because it's mostly the 10th and a little bit of the 7th from what I understand. So actually I'm going tomorrow to learn more about it and, you know, what's needed. Not trying to be funny, but that's why I'm going.
Are you referring to over there?
In the 10th Ward. So I'm meeting with the developer tomorrow. It just so happened.
It's not the public.
Not that I know of. I just thought we had an appointment. I didn't realize what you were saying. So I don't know who else is going to be there. But they talked to me about it when I was in the 10th Ward, and he wanted to meet, so I want to learn more about it.
People that are financing that, did they have their eyes on our neighborhood too?
Sir,
I have no idea. That's why I'm going tomorrow to get the whole scoop on it.
So it was mostly the 7th Ward and part of the 10th Ward. Now it's mostly the 10th Ward and part of the
From my knowledge,
Due to the reboundary, is that your cause?
No.
I have no idea.
What we were told about it is that the shopping center part was gonna be in the 7th Ward, but the housing part is in the 10th Ward. So most of it has always been in the 10th Ward, from the very beginning.
Okay.
So whatever I find out, I will make sure the alderman knows whatever I find out too. But maybe she knows already. I'm just going really to get educated tomorrow.
Because that project was supposed to create 5,000 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were told by our previous alderman, Congressman.
Okay.
Mr. Gentleman here will be our last question.
I just wanted to ask real quick, on April 9th, how can we plan to celebrate with you?
I hope I see you. I will be at the Holiday Inn in Matheson and Bar Louise.
Holiday Inn Matson.
Yes, please.
We'll be there.
I would love if you came.
And before April 9th, we actually will need a lot of help in getting out the vote. So if you are interested in volunteering, please see my friend Dante, and he's in the back waving his hand. He is accepting any and all volunteers. Volunteer once, twice, 3 times. We've got plenty of time between now and next Tuesday, so we could use you.
I just wanted to thank all of you again, and also about the, oh, sorry, one more question. Who is that?
Gentlemen.
I just wanted to put out information. If you want to know more information about what's going on at the lakeside, they have an open house periodically throughout the month. And you can go and learn, and they can tell you directly what's going on. They'll do a tour for you. So
Every third Monday. Every third Monday. You go out there.
Where's the new 7th Ward office at now?
She has a temporary place from what she said, and she's looking for a place, I don't know, if someone in the audience.
She said she has information on her Facebook page.
It's on Harbor, where the Streets and Sand office is on 91st and Harbor.
Off the bridge?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the open.
That's where she is right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys again. Please remember to vote. This is the only election Chicagoans have to vote for, but we really, really want your vote to, you know, to be a voice. As someone said, if you're not at the table, I love this, if you're not at the table, or you don't have a voice at the table, then you're on the menu. You want to be at the table. Thank you.